Rewind. It is the show that you tune into to learn all about the things, the marketing stories that you may have missed during the month of August. Here, I even made a super fancy open. Let me show you. Let me show you what it looks like. It goes like this. Oh my God, it's the marketing stories you need to know. And I made that. I made that. Are you proud of me? You should be. I am joined on the show, as always, by my co-host, Hillary Houghton of Social HQ. Hillary, I'm trying to unmic you. You chose to mute yourself.
I chose to mute myself. I'm trying
embarrassing me.
Share this at the same time, and I hear your voice in all different directions.
We did like an hour walkthrough yesterday. We've been on here for 30 minutes. And immediately she comes in and muting herself, going rogue on the plan completely. Jeez Louise, how are you doing?
I like to keep you on your toes, Ross.
You do. My flip-flop wearing toes right now. So how are you on this Thursday?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. I have no complaints.
It is. It's weird because we got like storms to the left of me and storms to the right. Here we are, stuck in the middle with you, talking about our three, I'm not going to say favorite. I don't know if favorite's the right word, but 3 marketing stories that we think you, as a small business marketer, as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, should be aware of from the month of August. Now, before we do that, though, you remember our first show last month? Do you remember that? Remember when we did that show, Hillary?
Oh, I remember. I didn't know
you
were watching. Of course.
No. They definitely remember. They definitely remember. That's why they're here right now. Totally remembered. No, last month was our first Rewind show. We had a sponsor. And you know what? I delivered again. This month, we have a sponsor. I'm super excited to share with you that our sponsor this month is the Weird Homes Tour. Now, they are a fantastic sponsor. They were born, raised, created here in Austin, where we like to keep things super weird. So I guess that makes sense. Also, weirdly, they have chosen me to be the co-host of the virtual Austin tour. And that's coming up again on September 5th. So I thought to kind of just talk a little bit about what they are and what they do, I show you a couple of the homes that we're going to be showcasing on the virtual Weird Homes Tour Austin. And I'm going to hit a scroll at the bottom here. If you go to their website and you want to buy the virtual ticket and book package, which is great. I have the book, but I don't have the book here. I left it. It's my coffee table book. So it's on my, apropos, it's on my coffee table. You can get their book, which is amazing. And you can get tickets to the virtual tour if you use promo code TRYWEIRD. We took Tricycle, we took Weird, we just put it together. So one of the homes, so this is one of the homes I'm going to be in, is the giraffe home. So a lot of giraffes. I have some idea going into these, what I'm in for, but not full idea. So this is going to be why I think maybe they picked me, is because I don't know all of these homeowners and the ins and outs. So we have the giraffe home. This is another one that I'm going to be diving into. It's a pun because it's called the Aqua House, and it is a pool that, as you can see, is inside a house. I mean, Hillary, seeing this, like, don't you feel like this would make all of this coronavirus like a little more tolerable, having a pool?
Absolutely. Can I visit?
What's that?
Can I rent? Can I visit? I love that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And it's got a slide in the back too. You can see like in the, I mean, that's amazing.
Too much. It's too rich.
You're just jealous. You got all that haterade sending it their way. Now this picture doesn't particularly do this home justice, but this is another one I'm going to be at. And this is it's a tree house. So super excited about that. We have a bank, formerly a bank, but now a home.
Oh, stop.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Look at that. That's got to be just awesome to live inside. I have posed the question, if you live in the bank house Do you think that you set your bedroom in the giant safe that they have?
That might not do well with my claustrophobic tendencies.
Oh yeah, we just found
I
out.
would be like,
Tell the
I'm
people.
locked in here.
Tell the, are you comfortable sharing your phobia?
Oh, it's like non-diagnosed. Yeah, Ross and I were just talking about the fact that I absolutely cannot stand elevators. I have a deep-seated fear of being stuck in one and not being able to get out. I don't know why.
I was curious also, and I did ask this in case you are curious out there. I asked, are you scared of going up on them or going down on them? And you were just like, the whole elevator experience.
The second those doors close, I'm like,
have you ever been to Disney and gone in the Tower of Terror?
oh, that doesn't bother me. Outdoors, even elevators where I can see outside, does not bother me. Flip me around in the air, throw me up, throw me down.
It's literally, wait, you're scared of being stuck in them.
I'm being scared of stuck in
the Tower of Terror, I mean, unless it breaks down, is not,
it's not
just the dropping. So
have you ever gone into a cave and you can't see your way out and you start to like, wait, did I come from this way or this way?
There's caves, the Longhorn Caverns right outside of Austin, Texas, I went to. They are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
They had speakeasy parties in the caverns there.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine having a party? It's like The Shining in a cavern or something. Everyone's in like their like, tuxedos and you're in a cavern. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, I digress. Then we got the Sand Dollar House. Look at this thing, like super, super cool. This is out on the lake on Austin. And it's hard to actually believe this, but the inside of this home is as unbelievable as just even the exterior. And it opens up completely to the lake. It is awesome. Then we have the Pop Culture Home. So this is just one of the rooms in the Pop Culture Home. So this is the Barbie room / collection, but they have a Kiss collection. They have, I believe I've seen a comic book collection. I mean, it's just unbelievable, super cool collection here. By the way, you just moved, Hillary. Do you have any odd collections that we should know about, and maybe nominate you to be on next year's Weird Homes Tour?
I love Weird Tour. I need to weirdify my house. Right now, it is extremely vanilla. I have moved from a 1-bedroom apartment into a much larger house, and I got to fill these spaces. But you just wait. I'll see if I can get quirky here.
Okay. That's a good challenge. I think you could probably do it. All right. Then we have the Aware House. All right. So the Aware House is something that, I mean, look at this. It's got to be a cool place to hang out. It's again with the jokes. I'm just killing it. This is like exercise space, mindfulness space, whatever this is, space. The Aware House featured on the Weird Homes Tour. And then last, certainly not least, we have the Mysterious Planchette Home. And this is full of planchettes, otherwise known as Ouija boards, and other spiritualism items. And so it's super, super cool. So yes, I want to encourage you to check it out. It is going to be on September 5th. That is a Saturday, and it's going to be live. And if you sign up and you can't join us for the whole thing, that's okay. We make it available for a little bit, for a couple weeks after, so you can check it out. So, and again, if you're thinking about buying tickets, go to Weird Homes Tour and use promo code TRYWEIRD. Okay, so now we are ready to jump in to our what you're here for, Rewind, our marketing stories from August that you need to know. Hillary, are you ready?
I am bursting at the seams.
Whoa, that's a lot of enthusiasm. She really brought it, folks. All right, so our first topic is the ongoing, we touched on this a lot last month, but this is how these stories go. Things
it's hot
evolve
right now. We got to talk about it.
I feel like we would be dum-dums if we didn't talk about it. The TikTok what I'm calling ticker tape. So here is a whole rundown series, if you will, of what has been going on with TikTok. Okay, so TikTok, let's start with first. Now, these are in semi-chronological order, right? Don't hold me. There's been so many things, it's been hard to actually keep track. I'm not going to lie. First, we had Trump declare TikTok a national emergency. Okay. We got COVID, we got some civil unrest, but we definitely got to put the fire out on this TikTok thing. It's a problem. Okay. So that's first and foremost. Then we got Microsoft looking to acquire TikTok. Now, Hillary, I think you have a relatively hot take on this. So I want to hear your take on the Microsoft looking to acquire.
I do have a little bit of a hot take. I think that especially when you take the fact that there is a company that is trying to purchase and acquire a brand like TikTok, that kind of thing takes a long time. It takes a lot of negotiating, a lot of back and forth for that type of acquisition. And to put the pressure on TikTok to say, get bought out or get out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, oh, you're getting a little spicy here and here and trying to squeeze the deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
You either need to be, like bought by, we know some guys, we know these guys, you can go with them, or it's over, Johnny.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of strange situation, Now, to be fair, I will say this. There have been other suitors, right? Microsoft was the biggest. They've been, I don't know if it's the most credible, if you will, but there was discussion that Twitter might be interested in them, which would shock me actually a little bit, but, and some other, hedge fund, other organizations looking to buy them, but Microsoft definitely kind of made the news, if you will. Then we have Instagram saying, hey, all this stuff going on with TikTok. You know what? What's the phrase, Hillary, that Zuckerberg likes to use about
adopting features that to helping build communities for our users so that they
love to adopt features. What a phrase. What a phrase. So Instagram launches Reels, which is the it's hard to say platform because Reels lives inside of Instagram, right? If you missed it, I actually did a walkthrough of Reels on our YouTube channel. I'll put that link in the comments here. So Reels is it's the tools and feature set that essentially is like TikTok, right?
Yeah.
I call it, I said people, it's like, you're able to create jump cut style videos. So that's short form videos that kind of go boom, 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 overlay text, incorporate music, and other elements. And I really think the key here, particularly with TikTok, is like I say tell a story, right? But there's some like continuity to it, if that makes sense. Is that a good explanation? Probably not.
No, I think that's a great way of saying it. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more creativity, a lot more fast pace to it. There's a lot more of a ongoing, essence to it. So I think that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to keep, there are some little, I'll say snafus definitely at launch. I noticed some really granular things like, and maybe it was only me, I don't know, but like the timing buttons seem to be mixed up. So when I hit like twice as fast, it went half as slow, which is a weird thing. Yeah, very weird, but it got corrected. So they're really updating things. Also, I will put in the comments here, I had to go through and update my entire Instagram marketing course, since when they came out with Reels, they completely changed the user interface for everything. So if you're interested in learning more about Reels or even about Instagram as a whole, I will again drop the link here in the comments here in a second. Okay. Can we also say, I want to take a moment before we move on from this.
Oh.
I want to say to Facebook / Instagram's credit, they take these features, platforms, right, that I think maybe people I think are too complicated or don't understand, and they almost dumb them down to a point where people like then use it. I think stories, prime example, right? No one knew how to use Snapchat. I had one friend on Snapchat. One. I don't have many friends anyways, but still, one friend. And no one knew. It's like, I don't understand Snapchat. And then stories comes out and they're like, oh, got it. I can do stories. It's like, this is the same thing.
Yeah. It also has to do though with accessibility. So the fact that Instagram is public and it's known for being public, whereas Snapchat was kind of born out of a place of privacy. Mm-hmm. So the fact is mostly only one, and stories for Snapchat was a later progression of the platform itself. So when you think about it that way, it makes more sense that you would see that kind of dynamic shift from Instagram being able to adopt these features and have them be more widely used. That being said, call a spade, definitely took a lot of features that you would see on TikTok that made it so easy to use and put it into Instagram. But one thing I will say that's really interesting about the difference that's still there has to do with the usage rights of audio. So what you do with TikTok is you're not seeing as much of the like copyright issues, whereas there's a lot of red tape that Instagram follows, and rightfully so. But it's still very easy for users on TikTok to make their own sounds and then have it go viral. And instead of getting pissed off that they're not getting paid royalties on their sound, they're excited because they're viral and their searchability is there. So there's just a different dichotomy of how those platforms run and operate as a whole.
To that point, also, Instagram makes a distinction between a business, personal, and now creator account. So maybe that's a discussion maybe for a different day. They now have 3 different types. But when you're a personal account, you can use the music sticker and you can use music inside of Reels. However, if you're a business account, nay. You cannot use the music button in Reels isn't even there. It's not even there. And the music sticker in stories, not there. Yeah. So this is something, I don't know where your head is at on this. When people are first starting out on Instagram, if they're starting an account, I actually usually encourage them to keep even if it's for a business or brand, to keep the account personal, right? To focus more on audience building. Because I do believe that Instagram treats business accounts and maybe now creator accounts a little bit different, maybe a lot of bit different. And I think it's easier to grow your audience when you're on a personal account. Now, there's benefits to be had when you move over and switch over to a business account. But you can do that at any time. So build your following on a personal account. Let's just call it 1,000 fans. I don't know. That's just an indiscriminate number I'm throwing out there. And then if you want the benefits of business, consider switching over there. But you will lose all that music functionality. So depending on how much of that you want to be part of your brand, it's important to think about.
Yeah, I think that there's pros and cons. I think it really depends more on what industry that you're in if you're going to be taking that route. So for example, if you are a personal brand, so that can be a personal trainer or a dentist or a chiropractor, that might be a really fine approach because you are always going to be the face of the business. So you're always going to be that personal touch. However, if you're somebody like Dunkin' Donuts, or if you are a bug spray company, don't have a face, and it might be a little bit more difficult to build credibility with your audience if you're taking the personal approach. So that's where I think that there's pros and cons to both. I usually have a more difficult time getting my clients who are like, I want to be a personal account. I'm like, the difference is kind of marginal. Yeah. I mean, Facebook absolutely does treat businesses and personal users very differently in the way that they share information. But people don't use Facebook differently when they're a business or when they're a person.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that they have a personal account advantage, but they're using it like they are a business. And that's a way to bamboozle your audience a little bit and have them get frustrated. So that hurts your credibility in the long run. So it's a toss-up. You can do it correctly, but a lot of people get too excited and then they just spam their friends.
The bamboozle. Any time we can use bamboozle in the business context, I think is really a win for our listeners and even for our own businesses. So, okay. So we have Instagram launching Reels, but there's more. More stuff has happened. Okay. We have another competitor entering the ring when it comes to these jump cut style videos. Now, it is called Triller. Now, here's the thing. I know things. What a bold and really thoughtful thing to say. I know things. I didn't know nothing about this Triller, but I'll tell you who did. Hillary Houghton. Hillary, tell us about your experience on Triller.
Oh gosh. Well, Triller's not new. It's gaining popularity because it is very similar to the same style. I almost want to say that Triller actually came out before Musical.ly did, which is Musical.ly turned into TikTok. Okay. But Triller was much more of a editing app than it was a social platform. So similar to the rise of Instagram, when Instagram first started and when it was in its infancy, it was strictly a editing platform, just like Visco, just like Lightroom. That's really what it was used for. So we had these really crazy, saturated, looks like it was on a film, super aggressive, a lot of
Matrix style.
I loved it. Like the saturation levels cannot be tamed on my old Instagram. I cannot be tamed. So you evolve from that type of, editing and then putting it on your Facebook to then they get the social media traction going. And it pissed Facebook off. Like, I'm going to squash you or we're going to buy you. What do you want? All this is congressionally taped.
Or no. Or we're going to adapt features.
That's in the squash you.
Okay, sorry. Yes, interchangeable. We're going to buy you, or we're going to adopt features to build community.
Wholesome.
Okay.
Wholesome. By the way, I think it's important to mention that I did get shadow banned for talking smack about Instagram on Instagram, but we'll get to that once I finish the Triller story.
Okay, got it.
So once then Instagram was like, okay, let's go ahead and get bought out. They all of a sudden take advantage, get deep with Facebook's really powerful understanding of how social platforms work. And I think that's the part that Facebook doesn't get a ton of credit for. They're extremely good at creating an interface that allows for community, whether that's by different interests, different commonalities, whether that's just by small businesses. So there's a lot that Facebook has done really well that I think Instagram would not be where it is today if it didn't have the leverage to that kind of understanding. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Instagram, take me off shadow ban. But that being said, TikTok, Triller is a little bit more of that, it got that rise and then now it's to get in the space of the social media world. And it didn't take off quite as strongly. But TikTok has paved that way so that now people are more comfortable with how to use that. Triller has a model to be able to work against to become more of a social platform. But I still don't see it as being as
Didn't
effective.
You say Triller also started as just lip sync and music stuff? Yeah. That was like its bread and butter, if you will. And
it was limited. They only had a certain amount of licenses that they could use. It was like very limited platform at the time.
So it was only Maroon 5 songs and Smash Mouth or something like that.
And
right? Were they good tunes? And I knew you'd know. That was the test. That was a test to see. She's on. She's going to have to take that Triller account to private. Before we move on to our last one or two things, do you want to talk ever so briefly about your shadow ban and what that means? Or I can tell.
Part of my job.
A shadow ban is when your platforms work against you. they turn
They
on
sure
you?
do. So essentially shadow ban is they do turn on you. You can get shadow banned for a lot of things. We can get into all the debate about, what power social platforms have over free speech, la, 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 la. Anyways, it's still their platform. As you like to say, Ross, it's their playground. We're just playing on it. So I got put in the timeout sandbox because I decided to make my first reels calling out the fact that the Reels platform essentially stole the TikTok platform, which it did 100%. Like, put the two next to each other and it did. But I so bravely, with my 1,000 followers, decided that I was going to go in there and make a statement. I just wanted to test it out. My role, my client, on behalf of my clients, is to test out different products, different features, and also different lines. Like, how far can you push before you get slapped down? I found the line. So
real quick.
Oh man, I'm not kidding. My reach dropped 60% overnight.
That's how you can tell when what's called your reach. So how many people that see, or how many people it's delivered to, your content, when that is the bottom falls out of it, or it is incredibly low, and it gets correlated to the fact that that's weird. That's weird that this particular piece of content was criticizing Facebook, and I have real head scratcher there. So for those of you out there who wonder if you've heard, or maybe you've never heard, but shadow ban, it is 100% a thing that can happen. So we move along. She's going to do something. This will shock you to know, maybe, but coming up, we are going to be talking a little bit about Facebook's voting center. And that is going to be an opportunity for Hillary to say good things about Facebook and get back in their good graces. So, but we still got more on TikTok. I know it's hard to believe. And I feel bad for IGTV a little bit. IGTV is, I don't even know what the proper grammar is for this anymore.
Long-form video content.
Long-form video content to compete with YouTube. Everyone wants to take down YouTube, but listen, it ain't happening. But they wanted to do that, so they came out with IGTV, and that was long-form video content. And let me tell you, IGTV used to be found in your Discover tab, used to be in your feed. Good luck finding it now, because Reels has essentially kicked it out of its bedroom and locked it in the basement. It's, it is a IGTV. It's also barely part of the platform itself, and it even now has a standalone app. So they came out with an IGTV standalone app, which I can't imagine. I don't know who's downloading that.
I feel like that was the box that you put all of the stuff in your house that eventually just goes out into the garage and kind of gathers dust.
Yep.
That's what IGTV turned into.
So IGTV for now is out. I don't know if it was a failed experiment, if it was something that they're going to stick with, if it's something they're going to give up on. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing when it comes to Reels. Only time will tell, how long they'll stick with Reels, especially related to all these other things that we have here, this list of things going on with TikTok.
So with that, I would say that I think that IGTV, instead of it being its own set platform within a platform, similar to what they replaced Reels with, because Reels does need the searchability in order to compete effectively with TikTok. Because with TikTok, you can scroll endlessly, get lost in it, and you can't do that if you're constantly switching back and forth between a filtered photo to a Reels to a cinematograph. So there's just too much difference there for people to get lost in the platform. That being said, with IGTV, where I think it's going to still stand is that long form content's not going to go away on Instagram. So anyone who has been around on the platform knows that we started only with 15 seconds of video. We were really limited in how much you could share, whether that was as a person or a brand, and it limited your creativity. But now with IGTV and the ability to have your horizontal video to do full vertical video longer than a minute, I would say that that's where IGTV is really just going to stick around instead of being its own platform within a platform.
I'm going to be honest here. I made a prediction. I don't know if it was beginning of this year. Might have been 6 months ago. It was a while back, but it was this year. My prediction was that this year would be IGTV's breakout year. Boy, was I wrong. So
that
sorry.
Ain't it, Ross.
Swing and a miss. And the last thing we have, this literally came up, I want to say a couple days ago this week. TikTok filing suit against the Trump administration and releasing their US user numbers, which they had I think historically been not revealing. So yeah, TikTok has now said we're gonna take it to court. So this may pop up in our September rewind video. I don't think this thing is over yet. It's still so many stokes in the fire.
It's so many moving pieces. I was being a very rude co-host and looking at my phone because I saw Wall Street Journal said Walmart said it has held talks about joining Microsoft's talk operation.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
And the TikTok CEO yesterday stepped down after 3 months. We don't even have time to prepare for this show because it's in real time. What is going on?
The big play I would see for Walmart there is that they're going to be like, listen, we're going to be the primary main person who is doing the advert, serving up the ads, right? I mean, I got to think that would be their interest in that.
I'm wondering if Walmart's trying to take an angle on.
Wait, what? You cut out there. Is what?
I wonder if Walmart is trying to take an angle of Amazon. Like if this would be kind of their level into getting into that tech space level of getting into. But I wouldn't say that TikTok is some like incredible tech space. I would say it's a really great, organic, user-friendly. But and
I know people want to like kind of take a crap on Microsoft being in the mix on this, but I'm going to say Microsoft has done a really good job with LinkedIn. Now, I
would agree with that.
They've transformed LinkedIn. LinkedIn used to be a place you went maybe when you change jobs to update your profile. They've really made it into a vibrant space. So, I mean, my hat's off to them. It's actually one of my favorite social networks.
Same.
I really enjoy LinkedIn a ton.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job with it. Now, whether or not they could replicate that same success with TikTok, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in next month's episode of Rewind. What a tease. All right. So now we're going to move on to topic number 2. The number 2 thing. I don't know if I said that right. The second thing that you should know from August, the marketing story, and that is Twitter controls. So give me a second here because I want to, I'll move the slide forward and then we'll connect my phone here in a second. Okay. So what is this? Twitter had rolled out this month the ability for you to control who replies to your tweets, right? Now, this exists on Facebook. You can set up like, lists. Very few people do it as far as who even sees your tweets, who replies. There are, again, to Facebook's credit, very granular controls over who sees and can comment on posts. Twitter has been a little more like, whatever, like we're Twitter. You post something, there it is. If you got either a private profile or a public, it is what it is. Well, they rolled out this change in here. Give me a second here. You want to talk a little bit about this while I connect my phone?
Yeah, Twitter has been a breeding ground for trolls. And
what? When did this happen?
I mean, the most that you could do was just have privacy on your account, which was incredible if you are just looking to, privately share your thoughts, be more of a, behind the scenes kind of commentator. However, you have never been able to limit the amount of commenting certain threads you have with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, all of those platforms Facebook allows you to hide comments, which is really convenient for businesses if they have somebody who's just commenting negative things that may not necessarily be appropriate for that post. Businesses can actually go in and hide the comment, which means that the person who posted it can still see it. So they're like, yeah, I got you. But no one else can see it except for their friends. Their friends can still see it as well. But anybody who is coming to the page for the first time, taking a look at it, they're not going to be able to see what's hidden. So there's a lot more complexity to the privacy laws, but the laws of Facebook.
So
the privacy
here we are in Twitter. Shout out also Kayla Nam on Twitter. She slays. I just got to put it out there. She makes me jealous that I'm not better on Twitter. I'm just going to put it out there. That is what it is. Okay. Yeah.
I'm pulling up Twitter on my phone while we're talking about this.
I'm telling you, she slays. Okay. So, I'm on my personal account at Ross Hero. If you want to give me a follow, that would be sure. Okay. I'm at Ross Hero and I'm going to hit this compose. Now, you'll notice here, everyone can reply underneath my whatever. And I tap that and I can control, and sorry, this thing's in the way. Oh, there we go. Okay. Who can reply to this tweet? Everyone, people you follow, or only people you mention. And those are the three options, right? So now the reason why I bring this up first in my personal account is because this could just be that they're rolling this feature out like, in batches.
Yeah.
But when I switch over to my business account at Hello Tricycle, what's your tweet? Throw it out there, Hillary. Your Twitter account if you want to be followed on it.
Oh, Your Social HQ.
There you go. So maybe you can look at this on that and tell me. I don't know, because Twitter doesn't, I don't think, make a particular distinction between business.
A business.
But let's find out. Okay. I just want to say the other day when I came in here, this was not there. I did not have this. So you may just want to constantly make sure you're updating your app, make sure you have the most recent version. But I'm telling you, I didn't have it. So now I've debunked my own theory. Do you have this? Do you have this?
Do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. So it could just been a slow rollout, right?
It's a slow roll.
Okay. So this is that new Twitter reply function. If you're on Twitter personally or as a business, you now can control who replies to your tweets. Now you've done some. And we've both done some big brand, major brand, Twitter management. But do you see how this could be helpful to the business brand that uses Twitter?
Yes and no. I see opportunities for celebrities here and with influencers who historically have dealt with a lot of backlash and a lot of directed hate towards their posts in the past. So a really great example of this is Taylor Swift. She has historically undergone a lot of negative commentary on her content, and she's openly talked about how it's affected her mental health.
Yeah.
So that can be a situation where I would absolutely see the need for this. And that's not to say that you're silencing people, but it is putting boundaries and control around the content that you share and the direct feedback that you have to endure. So I say that for that type of an audience or that type of a creator, that's a perfect example of where this is going to be really helpful. That being said, news organizations definitely should not be using this as far as the back and forth dialogue goes. Brands, I can see for some really large announcements, whether that's a change in ownership or executive level leadership changes, where it's not necessarily something that you're, up for debate or up to talk about. But even then, I don't think that brands should be censoring their audiences and their perspectives unless there's a situation that warrants that to happen.
And we talked about this too when we were prepping that, you got to think about also what you're using Twitter for. A lot of bigger brands, but also small, use Twitter almost as a incredibly viable support channel.
Yeah.
Right. And, so if that's the case and you're sending out tweets and you're limiting who can see them or reply to them, you may not be checking that box as much as if you're leaving it open. I can tell you every time we travel, my wife and I, and inevitably there's some sort of plane issue.
Yeah.
She's like, you hit them up on Twitter, because no one in my family is on Twitter except for me. So I have to do the tweeting to the customer service person. And I'm not going to lie. It's had success. I'm not going to say the whole problem was solved, but I will say that conversation was absolutely happening there. And that, engagement, discussions, attempting to fix the problems, that was happening. Very real channel for customer service.
Yeah, customer service thrives as long as it's set up really well. There's a really large frustration with users when they can't get a response that they're looking for something. So for brands of all sizes to adequately set up Twitter so that it's a customer service engine that you can get responses and you can quickly fix those issues. I can't remember the stat off the top of my head, but it's something like 70 to 80% of people will change their opinion and end with a positive perspective for brands that actually do engage with their customers. So to your point, when these, whether it's Southwest, Delta, it's 100% not American. Sorry, American.
Yeah, it's definitely been South. I will say though, I attempt to be pretty civil in them. It's hard. You're tired, and it's also hard because sometimes, you get different information from them and, but more often than not, I've ended the evening, the long evening of delays, with a friendly GIF, the Ross Herosian sign off. It's really all I know. It's, if I could major in anything or be an expert in anything, I hate expert. I hate the word expert. I think it would be GIF usage.
I love a good GIF usage. An appropriate timed GIF can really switch up the mood.
Game changer. Maybe that needs to be my next course. GIF giving. Okay,
but what is your favorite GIF?
That's like asking someone what their favorite child is.
I can pull mine up in 2 seconds.
What? That's insane. That's what an insane person would say.
You know what? Because I send GIFs enough that I'm like, I know exactly where this GIF is. I know exactly who I sent it to.
I have favorites. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hold on.
This girl right here.
That's a good one.
I love her.
That's a good one.
So obviously, I'm getting married next year. So anytime someone says, I'm so excited, I just send that GIF.
I mean, I gotta say, again, even unintentionally with my Dunder Mifflin shirt, it's going to be something from The Office. It's probably Michael's no. And then the no goes across the screen. Like, I got to think it's going to be something from The Office. That's just my guess. So.
All right, I'm here for it.
Okay, we're rounding the corner to our third topic from August, marketing that you need to know, and that is the Facebook Voting Center. Like I said, Hillary was and has been, maybe will continue to be, shadow banned from Instagram, maybe even Facebook. And this may be her opportunity to turn it around. Now, what is this all about? Give me a second here. We're going to, Facebook's Voting Information Center. They launched it this month, and it is a, what's what I'm looking for? A hub, maybe, is the best thing. Oh, one-stop shop for information on how to register and how to vote. And it includes a tool for people to sign up as poll workers. And these are not my words. I literally copy pasted these from their site. So if they have some bias, this is because it's literally just copy paste. Part of an unprecedented effort to help 4 million voters register this year. So first of all, have you checked this out? Maybe let me pull up also where people can find it while you talk about it. But have you looked at this at all?
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. I did take a look at it. I think it's a great way to get more information. And I love when platforms use this type of big, this is bipartisan. This is helpful to all sides of the aisle. I try not to say both sides, but it's really helpful for people just to be able to learn how to use their voice, especially since Facebook is geared more towards a younger demographic, even though people are older. It is still dealing with people who are in that millennial age range, who we saw in the last election did not really step forward. Gen Z, while they're very loud and outspoken about their political issues and where they stand on certain dynamics, the idea of learning how to get registered can still feel very daunting for people who've never done it before, or
Absolutely.
how to get access to it, or how to, the comfort level of even walking into an election center and casting a vote. What does all of that entail? So I think that it takes the shame part out of the not knowing and puts forward information in a real way, which I appreciate.
So I pulled it up here. This is on desktop. It is also on mobile. Now on mobile, what you have to do is you have to hit the settings in the bottom right corner, and it will be one of the top things, that top like buttons that shows up. It I don't think it's one that gets hidden under a menu. It's right there. So this is the voting information center. And yeah, so here it is. So you can check your voter registration. You can learn about voting by mail. You can see the requirements. Check state requirements as far as if you need ID. The military component as far as getting ballot information. Serving as a poll worker right here. Poll worker out of context, you may think it's something else, but no, it's for an election. Keep your mind out of the gutter. How dare you? Okay, then a wholesome poll worker, for goodness sakes. Okay, then you have some other things. Now, some of these things are also going to, I assume, update as we get closer to the election. But here's why we wanted to bring this up. We were talking about this, and we were thinking, how do we make this an angle that is relevant to you, the small business owner, to you, the entrepreneur? And I think you had some really great points around content and opportunities that maybe, are circle around voting and elections. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of those?
Yeah. So whenever a business like Facebook, whenever a platform puts together something like this, that it's around an event, around something that is going to be really, big, this is a great opportunity for businesses to sit back and say, how do I fit into this equation? So especially for small business owners, that can be anything from talking about your poll locations that are near you and your oil changing company, talking about how to, get a discount or a pairing when you bring in your I voted sticker and your scheduled appointment. You can also, like Ross said yesterday when we were talking about it, he's like, how can, donut shops start to get in on it? So donut shops, I can be talking about how you're going to have special donuts for election day. So when you go to your nearest poll,
I'd just like to point out that you celebrated the fact that what I brought to the table was related to food. That's all I just want to say, was that my contribution was like donut shop. What about donuts?
What did the donut shops want to do?
What the hell are the donut shops going to do? I need to know.
Donut shops.
But it's
a great angle.
You brought up Dunkin' earlier. I love Dunkin' Donuts.
I love Dunkin'.
Love it. We don't have none of them here in Austin, Texas.
Wait, that's so sad. I have one really close to me in Cedar Park.
Are you in Cedar Park? What the hell? Okay, great. Great. Okay, fine. Where I am in Austin, there's one downtown on campus, not convenient, and one if I'm on my way out of town, which is maybe actually near you because it is going north. So not many.
Fortunate.
I just want to put this in context. I moved here. I'm not a New Yorker, but I moved here from New York where, you couldn't get away from the Dunkins, I had a lady, she knew my order every time. Walk up, she knew my order. Boom, got it, nailed it. Anyways, but Dunkin' definitely does stuff like this around election. They have a donut. Yep. So think about ways. I love that you had the idea. I just brought the donut thing to the table of the I voted sticker. The, are there other ways that, depending on how active you want to decide to be, encouraging people to register the vote? Are there things that, that is a completely personal decision. But when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner, you have the ability to bring that into the fray.
Yeah.
That is, I would say, one of the benefits of being a business owner.
Yeah. And I would say too, that this isn't, this is a safe area where this isn't really necessarily a partisan issue. It's a collective American, anything like you would say with a holiday, even Labor Day coming up, any type of big event that is happening in your customer's life, that should be something that you're tuned into and you're thinking about, how can I jump on the train with this? What can I do in order to push this forward? But also you're getting extra exposure the more that you're talking about it, because anytime that there's a hot topic that is being talked about, when it's appropriate for your brand to become a part of that conversation, Election Day is a great example of how to bring in your brand to be able to spread the message of getting out there, getting your vote casted, and really just, being an American.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, again, we didn't really have a debate, to be completely fair, of like, oh, there's another one that we're going to pick this one over. Like, I just like this story because, again, we so often will point to and talk about Facebook's follies. I did want to take the opportunity to, again, give them credit where it's due on this initiative, because you're right. It's not a bipartisan. It's a this is just register to vote, get involved in the voting process. Right. And that's what's really, really important. And if you're not registered to vote, shame, your name, you need to do it.
Mark Zuckerberg, get me off shadow ban. Thank you.
That's going to work. They're listening right now anyway, so they know all about your positive energies. You're positive. You love them.
Love the guy.
Zuckerberg's antenna in his head just went up. Definitely not a robot, but, just saying. So with that, we have come to the conclusion of this month, August 2020, the marketing stories you needed to know from the month. But before you leave, please, I want to take another moment to say thank you to our sponsor, Weird Homes Tour. Again, I want to remind you, I am co-hosting the tour. So, don't worry. I'm only doing like 3 of the homes. So if you're sick of me already, you're only going to see me for 3 of the homes. But if you're not sick of me, what a joy. You're so nice. You can see me again on the Weird Homes Tour. It is virtual this year. Thanks, COVID. Virtual on September 5th. So please, I encourage you, go to weirdhomestour.com. Check out the Austin event that's coming up on September 5th and use promo code TRYWEIRD on the ticket and book package, and you will get a ticket and you will get a really great coffee table book full of photos. You're not reading enough anyways right now. Thanks.
That's such a good coffee table book.
It really is. It's
such a good one.
It's such a good kind of like conversation, and that's what you want in a coffee table book. You don't want something that's particularly heavy. It's tons of photos in it, really well done, just fantastic. And let me just say, it supports a entrepreneur right here in Austin. So David and Shelly Neff, they're the co-founders. They are great people. If I'm not mistaken, did David introduce you and me?
He did. Full circle. Full circle.
What a
world.
David
is great. I love this concept. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah. So David actually brought Hillary and I together. He's a friend of Tripod. He's a friend of Tricycle. He's our friend. So please check it out. weirdhomestour.com. Before we leave, Hillary, anything else you'd like to share or tell the people how they can connect with you?
Yeah, so you can always follow along with Social HQ at Your Social HQ on any of the social media platforms, or yoursocialhq.com. You can go ahead and check us out and see what we're all about. But yeah, Ross, I love chatting with you. This was a good time.
This one was better than last month's, and next month's will be better than this one. They're going to keep getting better. So please follow us on the socials. Again, I put some links and comments for some videos I've been doing recently. I'll share. Also, I share a lot of things that Hillary's doing just because I'm a fan. So with that, I will let you, the viewer, get on with your day. And as always, I encourage you to keep pedaling.